Hey guys, your favorite Dinobot here, and welcome back because you guys have been killing this what if with the views and likes here. I didn't think y'all would actually, tear it up like this here. But this episode is going to be longer because I do want to focus on the Team Char fights here and give them their individual love here. So in all honesty, when making this episode here, I think that this would obviously be probably a three-part special, because it is Team Char, and I think that having them land in three different locations would deserve it here. So without further ado, let's begin here. When we last left off here, Team Char had arrived and each went to their respective locations. Blackout, Striker, and Cyclonus landed into a military base. Spitter landed into a zoo, kind of obvious, but hey, it is what it is here. And Oil Slick landed in an abandoned bike lot here. So the Autobots divided their teams here, with Wheeljack now being a part of the team a lot earlier than the original here. They each have their own area, or each have their own fights. The first fight we're going to focus on is Bumblebee and RC as they're looking through the abandoned park lot for the Decepticon here. However, Bumblebee notices an adhesive or acidic chemical on the ground and thus grabs RC and gently pulls her back. RC, noticing the chemical, thanks Bumblebee for this and says that if it was Jazz here, he'd probably make fun of her for not keeping her head up. And so with that being said here, Bumblebee and RC now have to quickly dodge two acidic balls being thrown at them. No diddy. And so with that being said, RC does shoot him out the air while Bumblebee has to evade his. And to which Oil Slick comes into view here and says that to think he would actually see them again is actually quite baffling. To which RC, remembering this voice here, as again it's very well known who Team Char is, actually points her gun and actually readies her arm blades just in case here, saying that it's been a long time since he's seen him. And to which Oil Slick walks into view in here and says that, yeah, it has been. And hopefully, this is the last time they'll meet here. Bumblebee ready his blaster, and so the two begin to engage the Autobot here. Luckily, the bike lot does provide a lot of cover, considering it is somewhat of a junkyard here as well. Bumblebee is able to shoot at Oil Slick, actually causing a distraction for RC to get close and engaging Oil Slick in close quarters combat. To which Oil Slick says, while that used to be one of his big problems, his armor has doubled and he's actually gotten better. To which he shows this by actually not only outmaneuvering RC, but grabbing her and throwing her through a couple bikes here. To which Bumblebee then has to turn his attention to Oil Slick and tries to keep it a long range. However, this is Oil Slick's strongest suit here as he launches a super destructive adhesive bile that actually melts the bikes in front of Bumblebee and taking away his cover. However, Bumblebee has to also continuously dodge while keeping his range from Oil Slick. Seeing that this isn't going anywhere, Bumblebee transforms to his vehicle mode and speeds around here, actually doing something very intelligent. Seeing the opportunity and seeing the window here, RC shoots him in the back. And so Oil Slick does feel this, but then launches a canister and throws this at RC here. RC shoots the canister, but unfortunately this is what Oil Slick wanted, as the canister explodes into a brown dust and covers RC, and then it begins to slowly rust her. Cosmic rust. While not a fatal thing here, it is capable of immobilizing a Cybertronian and making them fragile. Bumblebee, seeing this, actually uses his vehicle mode to speed up and then, risking his tires, rams into Oil Slick at full force, launching him into another bike pile. However, Bumblebee does not let up here, as when Oil Slick tries to recover, he is met with a ferocious combo from Bumblebee, who wails on him over and over and over again, overwhelming the Decepticon elite here. And so, having no other choice here, Oil Slick, when he's hit with another uppercut and lands on the ground, transforms into his bike form and flees the scenery. Bumblebee then carefully picks up RC and radios for Ratchet that he needs him back at base immediately. And so Bumblebee, seeing a canister still of cosmic rust, is able to carefully pick up this broken open canister and does carry it back to Ratchet, to which Ratchet now has to begin a reverse engineering process. Now we head to the zoo, where Wheeljack and Cliffjumper are now fighting Spitter. They're both looking around here. Luckily, zoo's closed and nobody's there. They're looking at the bunch of animals: lions, gorillas, cheetahs, rats, rhinos, and tigers. All sorts in Jasper, Nevada Zoo here. However, they're looking for a Decepticon, to which Cliffjumper notes that the animals here are definitely quite interesting. But, what are they looking for exactly? To which Wheeljack says, don't know. If a Decepticon showed up, he's just trying to fight him. Hopefully kill it too. To which this is where they actually make their way towards the amphibian exhibit. And so looking around here, they actually see a rainforest exhibit as well here. And so looking around, they actually notice the frogs. Some of them being tree frogs and a blue poison dart frog. To which Wheeljack says this one's an interesting color. To which he hears a voice says, yeah, he also agrees. To which when both he and Cliffjumper look around, there's nothing there. They don't know where it is. However, it would pan to above, and then the camouflage figure uncloaks itself and jumps right down, smashing Wheeljack and Cliffjumper into the water here. Realizing that this was one of Spitter's main abilities here, Wheeljack quick takes his swords and stabs Spitter in the stomach, causing him to jump off of both of them. Cliffjumper then gets out of the water and actually utilizes his blasters to begin pelting Spitter. However, this is where Spitter actually takes a monkey with his tongue and brings it into his mouth, eating it. This actually discusses both Wheeljack and Cliffjumper here. However, they realize that one of Spitter's main abilities is the fact that he can process any form of matter and turn it into a devastating projectile. So when the remains of the monkey come out, being nothing more than a skeleton, it is nothing more than a destructive projectile which causes a massive explosion, sending both Wheeljack and Cliffjumper back. And so Wheeljack, seeing that they have no advantage in this environment, as Spitter not only jumps into the water, but in his now new, I guess you could say beast mode, if you will, here. But again, he's not a Maximal or a Predacon, but hey, there's no limit to what a Cybertronian can transform to, right? With him being in his now Cybertronian frog form here, he swims into the water and begins circling around Wheeljack, and then camouflages himself in the water. Seeing that he's not getting anywhere, Wheeljack then prepares his battle mask and waits. He focuses, and Cliffjumper, seeing this, keeps his cannons out at the ready in case he sees any disturbances from the water or the environment near him. Both of them are calm. Both of them are collected. Both of them are waiting. To which, when the slightest shift in the water happens, Wheeljack slashes at it, hitting Spitter and causing him to uncamouflage, to which Cliffjumper then bombards Spitter with every bit of firepower he has here. This not only harms Spitter, but forces him to retreat here. Having no other choice, Spitter then leaps out of the rainforest exhibit and hops off, with Wheeljack and Cliffjumper now having to go back to base here and check on RC. Now, back to the military base, Jazz, Bulkhead, and Optimus are engaging Blackout, Cyclonus, and Striker. Let's focus on Blackout versus Jazz. Jazz actually notes that this Blackout is much slower in the mental department than his, to which Blackout actually, takes offense to that, obviously, and then begins to create a shockwave that, well, kind of lives up to his name, blocking out the military facility all around him, to which he says, that's interesting. His Blackout couldn't do that. To which Blackout then opens his arms and actually turns them into a cannon, extends his arm and turns them into cannons, launching the same type of energy, but more destructive. Jazz, not actually, wanting to sit there and take this, transforms into his vehicle mode and swerves around each and every blast, building up momentum. And as he circles around Blackout, he gets Blackout to stump, causing him to jump into the air, to which Jazz wanted this and actually transforms mid-air while he's spinning, mind you, and performs a axe kick right to the dome of Blackout. Black with Cyclonus and Bulkhead. Bulkhead notes that it's been a while since he's scrapped with Cyclonus, to which he says, yeah, last time you had World to back you up. Care to try that one-on-one? To which Bulkhead actually summons his Wrecking Balls and Cyclonus draws his own swords and the two begin to go at it. Bulkhead, while being stronger, is no match for Cyclonus' precise striking and his skill here. This puts Bulkhead on the back foot here until Bulkhead actually gets clever, to which when Cyclonus sashes him and pretty much, kicks him, Bulkhead uses the momentum to spin around and smack Cyclonus in the back of his head with his Wrecking Ball, knocking Cyclonus back and sending him skidding across the field. Bulkhead, not wanting to let this opportunity get ahead of himself, draws both of his cannons and opens fire upon him. Cyclonus then utilizes the opportunity to actually put his blades together and begin spinning them. But however, he's spinning them so fast that he starts to live up to his name and creates a cyclone which not only deflects the blast but pushes this tornado-like blast back at Bulkhead, skidding him back and sending him flying. Now, back with Optimus and Striker. Striker is matching the Prime strength, and you could actually say she's around the same size of him. To which Optimus says, "Why are you here?" To which Striker says, "Oh, Optimus, don't you know? We're here to serve our rightful Lord and Master at the command of Skyquake, his new and proper second in command here." To which, back on the Decepticon warship, Starscream is in shock saying, What? To which he says, "Oh, don't act surprised, Starscream. You knew you would get replaced eventually." To which Starscream simply looks in utter shock, says that after all he's done, after everything he's, done in the service of Megatron. To which Megatron says, "Oh yes, the backstabbing, the betraying, and the constant failure. To which is why Skyquake will be taking your position. Now, do be a good seeker and be sure that none of these Autobots actually, make it out of this occasion, or to make sure that Team Char comes back here." And with that being said here, Starscream, with his wings down and honestly defeated, walks by. To which Arachnid even states that, to think that you'd actually be relegated to some scout at this point. To which Starscream grits his teeth and simply keeps moving, following his orders here. But let it be known that he is not going to let this slide one bit here. In that doing so, Starscream leaves the Decepticon warship, transforming and heading towards Team Char's location. To which, at this point here, he is able to quickly regroup with Spitter and Oil Slick, and reluctantly tells them that they're heading back to Megatron's warship. To which, this is where he contacts Soundwave. Soundwave opens a ground bridge, and they wind up leaving here. And this is where we head back to the military base here. Jazz is actually giving Blackout the work here. However, seeing Bulkhead struggle, Jazz decides to pull something slick and says Bulkhead to actually get ready. And this is where when Blackout swings at him, Jazz not only parries the blow, but gets underneath Blackout's arm, holding him in a shoulder throw position, and then throws him right at Cyclonus, causing, Bulkhead to have to duck down, and, Blackout is then thrown, obviously already thrown here, hits Cyclonus. To which, when he and Bulkhead regroup here, this is where Jazz says, "How about they trade dance partners?" To which Bulkhead says, "I would have it no other way." To which Bulkhead tackles Blackout here, while Jazz takes out his bladed staff and says, "So, you're Cyclonus, huh?" To which Cyclonus draws his blades and says, "Yeah, and you? Never seen you before." To which says, "Yeah, name's Jazz. I'm a lieutenant in another dimension, but here, I'm fine being a warrior. To which he and Cyclonus engage in a testament of skill, back and forth, bladed javelin versus twin cyclone blades. And so this fight is very masterful, it is very skilled here. Meanwhile, Optimus in Striker has reached his peak. Prime eventually is able to get the upper hand, and thus drawing his cannons here, does begin to bombard Striker with cannons. However, Striker opening her breastplates reveres her boob missiles. Yes, that is an actual thing. If you look up Transformers Animated, look up Striker's weaponry. It's very funny. I'm telling y'all gotta look it up for yourselves, cause I'm gonna have to call it the breast cannons at this point, or the breast missiles here. And so with that being said, as the two blasts, connect with each other, Optimus causes one to explode, but has to actually slice through the other one with his blade here. And so Team Char is now on the back foot here. But in doing so, Starscream is actually able to send a missile right towards Optimus, causing him to fall back. Jazz and Bulkhead, seeing this, immediately break off their fights, obviously hitting their opponents back as well here, so that they get some distance to actually go and check on Optimus. Optimus is fine, however, but Starscream pretty much lands in front of the group, pointing his one remaining missile, and then splashes at them. Jazz, Bulkhead, and Optimus, all thinking the same thing here, blast the missile, creating a huge explosion. However, when the explosion settles, Team Char is gone. To which the Autobots all return back to base, telling him that, yeah, that was a pretty rough battle. And however, when Jazz sees RC on the medical bay, he immediately rushes to her, asking his beloved if she is okay. However, RC says, yeah, just got caught in some cosmic rust. To which he actually looks pretty shocked, saying that, oh, they have that? To which, when RC is now, fully able to recover, this is when the Autobots ask him, so you know about cosmic rust? He says, yeah, but he didn't know that a Decepticon had it. It was an Autobot weapon back in his day. To which they actually look at him like, what Autobot used it? Oh, well, Sentinel Prime. He had an actual entire gun dedicated to it. He was the only one that was actually capable of using it because he had an immunity to it. To which he says, an immunity? To which he says, yeah, I think it was something along the lines of carbon fiber, to which it just doesn't rust, if you will. Now that I think about it, he only had another Autobot that actually had that similar design, and that was his universe's Sideswipe. To which this is when the Autobots begin to think about something. If they can get their hands on that, then that just takes away something that can instantly kill them. To which this is where Jack, Miko, and Sierra also note that they know good places to where they can get carbon fiber. To which this is where Optimus says that then they're going to just have to apply that to themselves right now so that they do not get hit with any more cosmic rust. To which Ratchet says he will begin working on it as soon as they get to materials here. Back on the Decepticon warship, however, Starscream is in the corner with Knockout and Breakdown, stating that, well, since Starscream, probably just doesn't have a position, he can simply join their crew. To which Starscream looks at him like, really? To which Knockout says, yeah, it'd be nice to have him around. Plus, everyone has an illustrious finish here, so why not? To which Starscream says, that would actually be pretty interesting. We'd have our own group here. To which, this is where Arachnid also chimed in, saying that, well then, if you guys don't mind, I'll be tagging along with this ragtag crew as well. To which Starscream says, why would you want that? And this is where Arachnid says, very simple here. Skyquake has Megatron and Soundwave. Striker has her own team. And they're actually saying this while Striker pretty much professes her loyalty and her dedication as one of Megatron's main tacticians. To which Megatron says, good. He will be needing all of them here, and they shall remain as a team under his ranks. To which he then looks to the side and sees Starscream along with Arachnid, Knockout, and Breakdown, and says, I like this here. To which everyone looks in kind of shocked like, huh? This little team here. It looks so beneficial here. But it will need some strong guidance. To which he then simply turns to Skyquake and says that as his now most loyal lieutenant, kind of emphasizing that to kind of piss off Starscream a little bit, you will have the luxury of commanding Knockout, Breakdown, and Arachnid. And so, with that being said here, that team is officially formed under Skyquake. They will not have a name. I do not have time for that. Maybe the Rebels or the Enforcers, if you will. I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Here's the thing. If you guys pick a name in the comment section for this little team of Skyquake, Starscream, Arachnid, Knockout, and Breakdown, I will use that team. Whoever gets the most likes gets that team. So be sure to support each other in the comment section, and I will encourage it. So with that being said here, the events of TMI actually go the same here, except one little thing. Miko gets called out by Jazz. Now, while Jazz isn't very harsh about it, the tone is very serious to him here. Because again, he's come to love this team as his family, and love these humans as a family as well here. To which he's backed up by his human partner, Sierra here. So, with that being said here, when Miko does take Bulkhead out of the base here, she is accompanied by Wheeljack and Jazz here. To which Jazz does keep a good monitor on him, and this is where we actually get to see Skyquake and Arachnid versus Wheeljack and Jazz. The battle between the two Autobots and the two Decepticons is very intense here. Arachnid is a skilled fighter, and with her many limbs, this does prove a challenge for Wheeljack, plus with her webbing. However, Wheeljack is not only able to time his slices, but actually does shoot some of the webbing off. And so with Skyquake, he and Jazz go at it like there is no tomorrow, both utilizing their respective weapons, utilizing every tactic they learned from each other, and so that fight is just, I would honestly say, very destructive as well, destroying the monster trucks, destroying the arena, destroying everything. However, when the rest of Team Prime come in here, Skyquake reluctantly tells Arachnid that they need to retreat. And so with that being said here, they do fail in this mission. However, Megatron's not too bothered by it, as he still has what he needs. This is where we get into the next episode, One Shall Fall, with the Decepticons now being led by a deranged Megatron, and, well, he still has visions of Unicron, and thus still wants this prophecy to happen here. And so, some of the things still go the same. Megatron gets the generator with Knockout and Breakdown, however, they are accompanied by Starscream. And along the way here, Bumblebee and Raph do get shot here, and this pisses everybody off here. To which, when they get back to base and Raph is able to recover here, Jazz can't help but imagine Beast's pain here, and thinks of his own Bumblebee, and thinks of his human partner, Sam. What if this happened to them? How would his Bumblebee react? And he looks at Sierra, who's actually worrying over Raph here. What if that was Sierra? And understanding this here, the Autobots raid the warship just like in the original. However, the team is much bigger here, with it having Bulkhead, Cliffjumper, Jazz, and Optimus here. And in doing so, when Optimus professes that he will kill Megatron, but with everything going on, and with this prophecy, he thinks to himself here, he can't let that happen. He can't let this Optimus risk his life so recklessly, unlike his. To which Jazz actually grabs Optimus on the shoulder and tells Optimus that he is sorry. To which, with a simple punch to the gut, Jazz knocks out Optimus and tells Cliffjumper to take him. To which he asks, what the heck is he doing? To which he says, if this prophecy is true and there is some rising darkness to have to deal with Megatron, considering he is capable of taking on the Decepticon leader himself here, Jazz puts it upon himself to get the job done, because this Optimus has a much better relationship with this Megatron than the one in his own dimension. To which Jazz actually sets out, tearing apart the Decepticon warship. And so he is quick, fast, and in this case, he is not holding back here, to where he actually storms the main bridge and is greeted by Team Char and the rest of the Decepticons. To which this is where Jazz actually utilizes his magnetic abilities to restrain most of the Decepticons around him and begins to whoop out any Decepticon that is not caught in the magnetic bind here. And so this is actually where we see just Jazz just going ham, going unleashed here, even dealing with Skyquake in a quick and decisive fashion, and points his spear towards Soundwave, pretty much having Soundwave in a chokehold here while Skyquake is underfoot, and his crescent cannon pointed back at the Decepticons control panel, telling him that they're going to send him to Megatron, and he's going to make sure that the location is right, just in case you try some slick nonsense like his Soundwave. Understanding that he's in a bit of a bind here, and Skyquake is underfoot here with the rest of the Decepticons, even though they're still pointing at him here, after seeing how quick and decisive this Autobot is here, yeah, Soundwave gives him the proper coordinates and even shows him that Megatron is there right now. And so, with that being said here, Jazz actually walks through the portal and confronts Megatron. To which, when Megatron's back is turned here, he says he was expecting him What? What are you doing here? Last time we fought, we were equal. What makes you think you're gonna beat me here at the height of my power? To which Jazz simply draws his crescent cannon and points it at Megatron and says one very thing: he's not holding back. To which Megatron grits his teeth and just blasts at Jazz, to which both of them do the same here. And not wasting any time here, Jazz transforms into his vehicle mode, swerving around Megatron's blast, and utilizing the battlefield, he actually makes Megatron blast at the battlefield on purpose while he's in vehicle mode swerving around him. Picking up the speed here, Jazz then begins to create a dust cloud and actually dives in and out of it to actually hit Megatron with physical blows over and over and over again, utilizing the tactic. Megatron then tries to transform his fly, but Jazz is able to pounce on him just in time and grab him by his wing here. Now again, keep in mind Jazz is, around the same size as Bumblebee, so he is able to grab onto this wing. He's not overly big here because, again, remember in the beginning he was damaged and I had him be a little bit more repaired and modified by Ratchet to the point where, he is modified decently. I guess you could say he's an inch taller because of the way his helmet is or the way his head is. But again, he's around the same size as Bumblebee. So, yeah. With that being said here, let's get back to this fight here. As he's holding on to Megatron's wing here, he then utilizes his javelin and stabs right through it, causing them both to plummet into the ground. Megatron kicks him off and then follows up with a 3-piece combo. However, as he uppercuts, Jazz simply flips right back and transforms into his vehicle mode to soften the landing and speeds right at Megatron, who shoots at him until Jazz simply transforms mid-speed and spins around, to which this actually, catches Megatron off guard, wondering what he's doing. To which, as he spins closer towards Megatron, he utilizes the momentum to get a jumping uppercut of Megatron, launching him into the air. However, it doesn't stop there, as Jazz then, utilizing his crescent cannon, begins to bombard him with his much heavier firepower, actually overwhelming Megatron. And this is where Jazz actually tackles Megatron over the cliff here and begins to beat down on him over and over and over again, and it's just wailing on him continuously here. Back at the Autobot base, when Optimus is recovered, he's wondering what the heck is going on, to which he actually sees RC going off on Cliffjumper and Bulkhead for letting Jazz do such a reckless and dangerous decision, to which Cliffjumper says in his defense, he sounded pretty confident, to which he also says that they did have their hands full with Optimus and the generator, so it's not like really any of us could stop him, to which RC swears to the sky that if Jazz makes it back, so help her. And so, with that being said, it goes back to the fight, with Jazz now covered in Megatron's dark energon, dark energon blood, if you will. And so he actually takes out his javelin, and Megatron is wondering how could he let himself lose like this to an Autobot not even from his own dimension. No one should be this strong. To which Jazz says, in unfair contrast, Megatron, back in his dimension, he probably wouldn't be a match for his own. To which, as Jazz raises his javelin, he gets prepared to drive it through his spark until the volcano explodes, and well, Megatron catches the blade just like in the original. And so when he breaks it, he then stabs it right into Jazz's side here and then uppercuts him off. Megatron does not let up and gives Jazz the same treatment he did. Ferocious and repetitive. However, Jazz, even though he was stabbed in the side with his own blade, is still able to somewhat counter and begins to put up a fight against this now amped up Megatron. However, unfortunately, he's no match for him at this point here. The Dark Energon boost has given Megatron the edge he rightfully needed. And in doing so, he not only overwhelms Jazz, but this time when he transforms, he takes Jazz with him, and so lets Jazz goes mid-air and just comes down with a whole Falcon Punch right into the ground, leaving Jazz right then and there damaged and injured. To which Megatron does step on his chest and draws his blade to get him ready. However, when the space bridge opens in front of him, it is Optimus that comes out instead of Bulkhead. Optimus, now being a lot fresher here and not having fought Megatron here, begins to wail on Megatron fiercely here. However, the Dark Energon, still fueling Megatron here, does give him an amp and he does begin to wail upon Optimus. However, RC and Cliffjumper are the ones to get Jazz, to which he says that you are a massive idiot for wanting to do that. But she still loves him regardless. To which Jazz does state that, yeah, it was foolish, but he thought he would spare this Optimus the burden of having to kill his own friend, or his old friend as well. To which, this is where Jazz actually, does tell RC that he is sorry for not letting her in on this kind of activity. To which RC says, well, yeah, because she wouldn't have done something that foolish as taking on Megatron by himself here. However, when she does look to the fight, though, it does look like Jazz did a number on Megatron. But then looking back to Jazz, Cliffjumper also replies that, well, same to him. To which, as they get him out of there, they tell Optimus that they need to go. To which Optimus then hits Megatron with both of his cannons at full power and launches Megatron off the cliff. Once again, dear Lord, he is not getting a break from that cliff in this one. And so when they get back to base here, Optimus then asks Jazz why. To which, this is where he explains everything. The relationship between his Optimus and his Megatron was similar, but different. But his Megatron was far, far worse. Corrupted. He was a monster even cannibalizing the sparks of his own kind. Not Decepticons, but just Cybertronians that just stood against him. He would tear out their sparks and eat them. To which this horrifies the Autobots, that his Megatron was that brutal. And even still, he was his Optimus's brother back then, and hoped that maybe one day he could change him. However, when the Battle of Mission City came, and he was tasked with protecting the humans here, while Jazz couldn't utilize his own firepower, he would try to stand against his Megatron. But in doing so, it seems like the Allspark simply saved him and just sent him here. To which is how, well, everything simply happened here. And well, with that being said here, everything kind of goes the same, with them realizing that the Earth itself is Unicron. And this causes Jazz to panic a little bit, wondering if this is happening back at home. What if Earth back in his dimension is Unicron as well? But he tries to brush it off, trying not to panic, but it's starting to get to him. And thus, Wheeljack is the one to actually console him, like saying, hey man, relax a little bit. You're not acting like your usual self. To which Jazz does eventually calm down, saying that, yeah, he'll hopefully figure it out one day. He just hopes that maybe when he does figure out how to get back to his home dimension, even if he doesn't really want to, he wants to at least check on them. To which Wheeljack does understand that. And hopefully, yeah, everything does go the same here. To which One Shall Rise does conclude, or at least part 1 does conclude there. However, One Shall Rise part 2 relatively goes the same here, with Optimus and Wheeljack actually being the ones to confront the Unicron clones, with Jazz actually leading the Autobots forward here and actually being able to bring, backup cover for the Autobots. And this actually gives Wheeljack a lot more respect for Optimus than the original, because again, seeing the Chaos Bringer himself just actually willing to listen to a Prime, yeah, this gives Wheeljack a lot more respect for Optimus than the original. And so he's willing to follow Prime's orders without any reluctance. And in doing so, I think everything does go the same here, except Jazz actually shows his leadership qualities here, leading the Autobots through everything. Through the, belly of the beast here, or, inside of Unicron, no diddy. And well, unfortunately, they still lose Optimus, just like he originally does here. However, with Jazz here, he's able to keep everyone calm and says that, look, he may not be their lieutenant. He's not their Ultra Magnus or their Prowl or whoever they had in this dimension. But right now, he is the one with the most leadership qualities, and he needs them to follow him in order to get Optimus Prime back. And so, that is where we're going to leave it off here, you guys. Please comment down below, like and subscribe and share with your friends. This is Legendary Grimlock, and I hope you guys have a blessed day.